Welcome to our Trump Briefing Show. Today, we're diving into some intense international updates. First up, in Istanbul, Russia and Ukraine held their first direct peace talks since early 2022, but unfortunately, the meeting wrapped up in less than 2 hours. They agreed to swap 1,000 prisoners of war, but a full ceasefire remains out of reach, with both sides holding firm on their demands. Next, in a significant move, the US and Saudi Arabia announced a massive $142 billion military deal, the largest in history. This signals a major shift in U.S. foreign policy focus in the Middle East, moving away from its previous priorities. It's a bold step that could reshape regional dynamics. Finally, in the U.S., a federal judge has ordered the Trump administration to resume $11 billion in public health funding, which had been cut. This decision aims to protect vital health services, especially during ongoing challenges like COVID-19 and mental health crises. Please continue to stay tuned for more detailed updates. According to the Toronto Star, the recent Istanbul peace talks between Russia and Ukraine, which lasted less than 2 hours, resulted in a significant prisoner exchange of 1,000 prisoners each but failed to produce a concrete ceasefire or progress towards ending the war. Ukrainian President Zelensky, after discussing the outcomes with Western leaders, emphasized the need for tough sanctions on Moscow if it rejected the call for a full, unconditional ceasefire. Despite agreeing to exchange prisoners and discussing the possibility of a future summit between their leaders, the two sides remained far apart on key conditions, with Ukraine accusing Russia of presenting unacceptable territorial demands and Russia highlighting its readiness to continue negotiations while raising concerns about Ukraine using a potential ceasefire to bolster its military position. The Independent reports that the talks, a rare direct engagement after more than 3 years of conflict, were marked by mutual dissatisfaction and a lack of substantial progress. Both sides agreed on the prisoner swap but fell short of negotiations for a ceasefire, with Kyiv demanding tougher Western sanctions if Russia rejected a proposed 30-day ceasefire. Ukrainian officials and their Western allies accused Moscow of stalling and issuing unrealistic demands, such as territorial withdrawals, which Kyiv deemed non-starters. Meanwhile, Zelensky called for a full, unconditional ceasefire to halt the violence, while Russia maintained that it was open to diplomacy but needed guarantees that Ukraine would not use a pause to rearm or mobilize additional troops. Nikkei Asia highlights that the Istanbul talks, the first direct negotiations in over 3 years, resulted in an agreement to exchange 1,000 prisoners of war each and to continue dialogue with detailed proposals for a future ceasefire. Russian officials expressed satisfaction with the progress and indicated their willingness to keep talking, while Ukrainian President Zelensky challenged Vladimir Putin to meet directly in Turkey, which Putin did not accept, instead sending a mid-level delegation. Both the US and Ukraine remain cautious, with President Trump advocating for a 30-day ceasefire and a potential meeting with Putin, though Russia insists on firm terms before committing. The ongoing conflict continues to cause devastation, with fighting intensifying and civilian casualties mounting, underscoring the complex and fragile nature of diplomatic efforts to bring peace. According to the Toronto Star, Nikki Haley, a prominent figure in U.S. politics and a former rival of Donald Trump, is currently advocating for resilience amidst the ongoing turbulence in American trade policies. Speaking at the B7 conference in Ottawa, Haley describes the current messy state of the U.S. trade environment, characterized by Trump's tariffs and trade war, as merely growing pains that will eventually pass. She emphasizes that despite the chaos, other nations should not lose faith in the U.S. as a trading partner, reassuring international leaders that American interest in global commerce remains intact. Haley's optimistic outlook aims to reassure global markets and diplomatic partners that this period of upheaval is temporary, a sentiment echoed by U.S. Ambassador Pete Hoekstra, who is also addressing the conference and highlighting the importance of maintaining strong economic ties during these turbulent times. Deutsche Welle reports on a significant shift in U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East under President Donald Trump, notably the historic $142 billion military deal with Saudi Arabia. This agreement marks a departure from the previous focus on Israel as the primary U.S. ally in the region, signaling a strategic realignment that emphasizes broader regional partnerships and military sales. Trump's approach to the Middle East underscores a pragmatic, business-oriented strategy that prioritizes defense exports and economic interests over traditional diplomatic priorities. This move reflects a broader trend of the Trump administration's unconventional and transactional foreign policy, aiming to cement U.S. influence through substantial military agreements, even as it shifts away from long-standing regional alliances. Meanwhile, The Independent sheds light on the aggressive stance the Trump administration is taking on immigration, spotlighting a legal debate over the authority of Attorney General Pam Bondi to revoke green cards at her discretion. During a hearing in Philadelphia, DOJ Attorney Lindsay Murphy argued that Bondi possesses the full power to revoke permanent residency permits for any reason, even for those who have lived in the U.S. for decades. This assertion raises alarming concerns about the stability of lawful permanent residents, including millions who rely on their green cards for employment, healthcare, and social services. The case of Mohammed Katanani, a Palestinian-born imam fighting deportation after decades of residence, exemplifies the potential consequences of this broad authority, highlighting a government increasingly willing to revoke long-held legal statuses under the guise of national security and immigration enforcement, with the possibility of indefinite revocation without clear time limits. The Toronto Star reports that a federal judge has ordered the Trump administration to restart $11 billion in funding for public health departments, halting the administration's efforts to cut this essential support. This funding, allocated during the pandemic to bolster COVID-19 responses, mental health, and substance abuse programs, had already led to layoffs across health departments nationwide. The lawsuit was initiated by 23 states and the District of Columbia, emphasizing that these cuts would severely damage the nation's public health infrastructure, and the injunction only applies to the involved states, with federal compliance expected soon. The ruling highlights ongoing tensions over pandemic-related funding and the critical need for robust public health resources. The Toronto Star also details the University of Calgary's new initiative aimed at reimagining Canada-US relations amid a period of geopolitical turbulence and trade uncertainty under President Trump's influence. Researchers at the university's new North America initiative are tasked with exploring the future of this relationship, which has been strained by tariffs, trade disputes, and political insults, notably after Trump's administration tore up NAFTA and imposed tariffs on steel, aluminum, and automobiles. Alberta's provincial government is backing this effort, emphasizing the importance of innovative thinking outside traditional diplomatic channels. The initiative aims to address immediate challenges faced by Canadians and foster collaboration with American universities, providing evidence-based policy advice at a pivotal moment when the long-standing bilateral relationship is undergoing profound change. Meanwhile, The Independent reports that President Trump suffered a significant setback as his flagship legislative effort, the Big Beautiful Bill, failed in committee due to a revolt among conservative lawmakers. Despite Trump's rallying cry on social media, the House Budget Committee rejected the bill, which aimed to overhaul tax policies, tighten work requirements for Medicaid, and reduce renewable energy credits. The defeat underscores the fractured nature of Republican unity, given their narrow majority in the House, forcing a likely rewrite to address conservative concerns. This legislative loss reveals the internal divisions within the party and signals ongoing struggles to pass comprehensive reforms aligned with Trump's agenda, highlighting the complex dynamics of American politics during this turbulent period. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Got a question in your mind? We'll find the answer, we'll be kind. Encyclopedia on everything. Laugh and learn with the zing, zing, zing. From ants to outer space, we've got the facts in one great place. For kids and grown-ups too, we've got the A to Z for you. and the answer will be kind. Encyclopedia on everything. Laugh and learn with the zing, zing, zing. From ants to outer space, we've got the facts in one great place. For kids and